Okay, 6 PM on Tuesday, March 31st, and we'll call the Finance and Personnel Committee meeting to order. Do roll call.
Todd Spade,
Here.
John,
Here.
Emma,
Not on.
Todd Kirking,
Here.
and Tanya. Here.
Okay, first. Oh. All right, first period for public comment.
Doesn't look like anybody in the
Nobody
room
here?
or online, Todd, so you're good to go.
Okay, and then we'll look for approval of the committee minutes from 3/10/26.
This is Todd. I'll approve the minutes for 3/10/26.
Okay. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, go ahead with the payment of the bills.
Okey doke. In the original bills on page 3, we received the fourth quarter of 2025's federal taxi grants. So we're paying the city of Westby for their portion, the $21,277.48. We got our first billing for audit. So a lot of that for their progress billing for when they were here and then going forward. So we'll see those trickle in. Let's see. On page 6, we're paying for the bulk salt amount of $25,014.38. On page 7, we have the 2024 GEO notes. That the principal and interest is due on that. And then we also have the 2025 interest, and that is sprinkled between general TID 6 and TID 7. We're paying the second half of the mural for Eckhart Park. That's on page 8. That's the 2265. So that's the second half of that. And then you'll also see that we paid the pay request number 5 that was approved at last council for the bathhouse. That's coming out of TID 6. And then we also have the payment of pay request number 4 for Hanson Farm that was approved at last council. That is out of TID 7. So that's all on the original bills.
Mhm.
Questions?
No.
Any of that? Okay. In the additional bills, we had another payroll. So did I skip? Wasn't the first one that had the UTV? I might have skipped that. Or was it in the additional bills? Must have been in the original bills, but we did buy the UTV and it is here.
Yeah, it was on the originals.
And the original's here, yeah, on
Yeah.
page 6, the 28,977.48. So that is here and been added to insurance and everything. So that's good to go. So in the additional bills, we're paying the second half of the furniture for the fire department. It's on page 3. The $12,798.08. And then we also have the Opticon for the north stoplights for the fire department. $4,050.
You'll see like for some time now, fire station, for the most part, the bulk of it is done. You'll see bills trickle in, for the course of the next 7 5, you're probably 2 4 months. You still gotta get the training power repainted and we'll provide a full, like, where the budget line. It's looking really, really well. It's looking really, really good. There's still gonna be some bad. Wanted to see how things went, and now that we've got more time for you. We'll see that except for another 2 4 months, but we're gonna try to build up that
I don't think you're,
I was just giving an update regarding the fire station project and just noted to the council that there'll be a number of items that will continue to roll in for the next 2 to 4 months, but we should finish the project up by July.
Thank you.
and then also on page 4, you'll notice that we're paying the $15,000 out to grind that brush pile out at the brush and compost site. Also included in here on page 5 is the first half of the cemeteries budget. They asked to have that to 30,077.50 as half of their budget. They usually ask for it in two installments. And that's what I had to point out, so unless
Okay.
there's any questions.
No questions from me anyway. Okay, look for a motion to pay the bills.
Todd will make a motion to pay the bills.
Second? No, go ahead.
Oh, I second that motion. Yeah.
We need a second, yeah. Okay, we got a motion and a second. Roll call.
John,
Aye.
Emma,
Aye.
Todd Kirking,
Aye.
Tanya. Aye. And Todd Spath.
Aye. Item number 5, administrative updates.
My world has been elections right now, so we did, I did the training with all of my I have several new workers that are gonna be, moving in here in the April elections, so we went through a 2-hour training with all of them. Early voting started last week, and we have, this week through Thursday, and then we're technically closed on Friday, but I'll be here from 9 to noon for early voting that day. And then other than that, I'm having more audit questions coming in periodically, so we're just kind of doing some cleanup on that. So that's kind of my update.
Hey, thanks, Lori. Just some same updates that I sort of gave last time. The Welcome Center project, continuing to work with the chamber on finishing the MOU for just operation of that, working with Cindy, as well as, Allison as the executive director and some of their board members. The project continues to move forward nicely and should end up on time. We will look at a change order tonight as part of council, but I would say that the delay in the project is very minimal at best, and so we should still be looking at some sort of occupancy by mid to late June. Fire station, I mentioned that. Right now, what I'm trying to do is finishing up getting reimbursements for the rest of our grant money. The USDA has received some updated directives from the federal government about how to deal with excess grant funds on a project that I'm trying to work through with their representative. I just submitted another reimbursement request for about $131,000. I have not heard back on that, but stay tuned to that. They're being a little challenging right now. I'm hoping it's not a problem to the point where they're not willing to give us the remainder of the grant funds as they said they would. But it's a fluid situation right now, and I can get more information to you guys later, but I want to see how this latest reimbursement requests go. And then if I need to provide a further update, I'll probably do that at council. Old City Hall, Cindy and I continue to work on that, although we've taken kind of a step back as we've looked at some other items, particularly as I've been trying to support historic preservation regarding that house fire and their efforts to try to support the homeowners there. But Old City Hall, I think Cindy and I are meeting tomorrow, and we're going to continue to try to apply for that grant through Vibrant Spaces. Eckhart Playground is moving forward ahead nicely. We're getting close to meeting our fundraising goal. This morning, myself and Steve and Cindy, as representatives from the Park and Rec Committee, went down and accepted a check from the Lions Club, which was very generous. And with that, we're getting very, very close. We're about $20,000 short of where we would really like to be, but that's very much in reach, and we have some additional asks out there. Any questions on some of the bigger capital projects that we're trying to either wind down or kick into high gear that I mentioned? Okay. The winter conference, I was at the winter conference for WCMA at the end of February. I mentioned that last one. It went really well. A lot of great information regarding, leadership, development, financial management, legislative updates. I brought that information back, and I thought it was really helpful because I was able to sort of share some of that information with Sarah, and then I shared some stuff with Lori as the city hall staff. And so I just want to let you guys know, we spend money. I go away from the city for 3 days at a time. And I just want to let you know, I really think these conferences were incredibly beneficial, just in terms of the learning, as well as just being able to pick the brains of other administrators. One in particular, I was able to glean a lot of information about how she runs the airport, the municipal airport in her community. She was actually from Clintonsville. And we're going through, as I mentioned at the last admin updates, a succession planning with our own airport. And so I think I was able to glean a lot of information. I think she'll be a real asset as we move forward through that process. So it's just that kind of stuff that is really beneficial to us when we get outside our four walls and go see and connect with other communities. I think there's a lot of gained in that. And I think it's well worth the price of me being gone, as well as what it costs to attend. So just want to reiterate that. Didn't know if anybody had any questions on that particular conference. Okay. Economic development is still firing in high gear. I will say that North Point just won an award through Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation for best new construction on a main street. And so myself and Allison Service from the chamber went up there with a gentleman who's part of the North Point Coalition to accept that award, and we'll do like a Facebook post about that and just try to get some good publicity. So I thought that was great. Similarly, Bundle and Bloom Child Care Center officially opened their doors last Monday. There was a ribbon cutting on Friday the 20th of March. Myself and who else might have been there? Justin was there. Yes. Went and we just cut the ribbon. There was representatives from the DOA. And so they officially started taking kids on Monday. And so now that is officially off and running. So it was being able to do those two things back to back. One was on a Thursday and a Friday was really great because it was sort of the culmination of that big project that we've all been working on for a few years now. Still getting a lot of questions and asks about the business park. I plan to check in with our hotel developers starting like the first week of April. They just started their groundwork March 1, so I was giving them about a month to really get going, and then I'll just do some check-in periods periodically starting the first full week in April. Railroad Avenue also has quite a bit of activity. We're probably going to bring that back to council for a conversation about how we want to approach development on it. Just because we're kind of entering into some interesting area where we have like 2 or 3 or 4 developers who all maybe want to approach it in a different manner, which is great that we have so much interest, but it also means that we're going to have to make some decisions and really look at some pros and cons and maybe rethink our strategy. So more to come on that. And I'm sure you may have questions, but just letting you know that that's picking up as well, to the point where we're probably going to have another conversation. Finally, Hanson Farm, of course, is moving forward. We're getting close to having conversations with our third developer. If you remember, Joe Gunderson came forward with his multifamily project some time ago. That project continues to move forward. We continue to have conversations about putting together an MOU and a development agreement. That has not disappeared. It's a big project. It's, somewhere in the range of, I believe, 35 to 36 units and 6 different buildings. And so it just means that, we're going to have to spend some time and attention on really putting that development agreement together. So, but it's going well, and I think we're getting progress, and I'm hoping that by the end of April, we'll have something signed, because they're eager to get moving as well. Okay. So that's just like a quick update on sort of the happenings in my world. Does anybody have any questions about anything I mentioned or didn't mention?
Are you able to just give us more detail about the kinds of interests that you're hearing in the business
Sure.
park and Railroad Avenue?
Yeah, so on Railroad Avenue, it's the smaller, I don't know if everybody's familiar with the plot of land. It's Shade Haven. is out there. They're on the corner of BB and Railroad, and then just south of them is Chad Olson's second project, which is where those business condos and additional storage is going to be. South of that is typically where you'll see, in that park in general is where you'll see smaller developments. Usually we'll see local entrepreneurs or local business people interested in things in there. That's more of their area. And then out in the business park is, of course, where your bigger projects are going to be. Joe Gunderson came forward with a separate project regarding what he would like to do out there for some retail and his shop/showroom. He presented publicly on that as well. But we also have some larger, I would say at least one larger developer who's sort of kicking around a little bit right now, but it's too early to get too excited about anything on that just yet. They're shopping, if that makes sense. They're shopping around a little bit, but even when people are shopping around, it takes time to have conversations and make sure they get all the information they need. They want to know, especially the really serious ones are going to want to know, like, what do utilities look like? What do fees look like? They're collecting all that information so they can take a full package back to their boards. But does that kind of answer your question, Tanya? That's probably about as much as I can give you without sharing more than what I'm able. Yeah. We also have other developments in town that you'll probably see some agreements come forward soon. I can't really talk about those yet because those are still in like hard negotiations, or like, I wouldn't even say hard negotiations. We're currently trying to get a package put together to bring to you guys. So that's always what's hard, is like, I want you to be informed about what's going on, but if I don't have solid information to even share what's going on, it sort of defeats the purpose and then ends up spreading things around that may not end up even being a proposal. So that's why I hesitate to try to get into some of that stuff too much until it's more real. Good question. So anything else? Okay, super. Still the same folks in the room, and so I think you're good. Oh,
Just need a motion to adjourn then.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.